All right, October 8th, 2018, live day trading. Scan, survey, submit. Always the same thing every single day. Got to keep consistent. You want consistent results? I have to make consistent actions. So that's what we're focusing on, scanning the market. My scanners are scanning the market for stocks that meet my initial trading criteria for volatility and volume. That's what I'm looking for. So far, nothing is actually... Okay, DB just popped up on my scanner. Gonna look at that. Scanning through using technical analysis, looking for trade entry strategies. The basic concept here is anything that I can trade, that I can tag, that I can repeat, I gotta place that trade. Collecting data here so that way I can look through all these trade strategies, all these entry strategies, stop loss strategies. I mean, it's all about gathering data to see what strategies actually have a viable, profitable edge. There's just not a lot going on right here. DB is all that's popping up. See if anything else pops up. Yeah, technical analysis in real time is what it's all about. Trying to understand these patterns as they unfold instead of the hindsight. That a lot of people, it's so easy at the end of the day to look through charts and say, oh, why didn't I get in here? Why didn't I get in there? Well, doing it live, as the chart's unfolding, I found that's just so much, it's more difficult. So you have to really focus, do it every single day. You just need to spend time in front of the charts. Man, nothing is popping up on these scanners. So if nothing pops up, what does that mean? It means I can't trade for today because I have to follow my rules. I can only trade what pops up on the scanners. Let me reset this real quick. It's very rare that nothing. I have DB, which is not a stock that I typically trade. It's a financial service bank. Look at the daily here. I mean, this is the daily. It's an ADR stock. Just kind of trades all over the place. Look at that. It's like the high was $11.49. The low was 33. What's that? 16 cent? 16 cent range. So for some reason, the reason why this popped up on my scanner is because it gaps every day, right? Because it trades outside the U.S. market time frame, so it trades other time frames, or time zones or whatever. So this is why this is all over the place here. So this was something that comes up on my scanners, but it's not something I trade. And the reason, for some reason, it came in with extra volume this morning. But God, there's nothing on the scanners this morning. That's the way it works sometimes. You're looking for stuff, you want to trade, you're excited to get in, and nothing happens. So what do? Well, you force a bunch of trades and lose money. That's what I used to do. I'm trying to stay away from that now. Nothing to look at. So I'm just going to look. I can't trade any of these other stocks because they're not on my scanner, but I can just go ahead and look, see what we have here. Let me reset this. I'm just going to go through the huge volume buzz here. So this is my, see the volume buzz right here. So GE, all these are things that have a big volume. Basically, these have gapped and they have big volume. Ooh, AMD just popped up on the scanner because it's got the huge volume. So let's go see what's going on with AMD. Yep, 6 million shares. Okay, there's my 6:35 alarm. It's almost 6:35. GE, AMD, finally on the... Oh, okay, a couple more popping on the scanner. Really waiting until last seconds there. Because at 9:35 is when my scanner stops. And then I have whatever stocks have shown up, those are the stocks I trade. Okay, that's it. I got my 4 stocks. So DB, I already know I'm not going to trade. I'm going to get rid of that. UBS. Yeah, I don't know what's... This is ugly. I'm not trading that. So AMD and GE, that's all I have. That's what's on there. Not a whole lot. But hey, look at the volume. Look at this, man. 5 million, 1 million, 2 million. Huge, huge volume going on. AMD. Okay, so AMD just came into previous day's support, which is today's resistance. I don't know if there's going to be any kind of trade setups. This is interesting. Again, technical analysis in real time is a totally different story, right? Because I'm looking at these charts going, God, where's a possible entry? And I know at the end of the day, it's going to be totally obvious. Oh, I should have gotten here. I should have gotten there. I should have, but to understand that stuff in real time as it unfolds, it's a total different ballgame. Like I say, it's what separates the champs from the chumps, being able to do it in real time. Volume pushed down. This might actually, let me see, previous day. AMD. Inside 5-minute range bar. So you can see this is previous day's support, comes up into this. I don't know if it's going to fight through all this. Initial push was down 2 million shares. Pushing down again, it looks like right here, with another almost 2 million shares. Let's see what else we got. So, what I don't like about these stocks so far, this is the opening range bar right here, and not doing anything. Hasn't broken outside of the opening range bar. So let's see here. So 1330 down here, that's the previous day's high. Right here. Will it bounce? So this is interesting because you see this kind of this flat, somewhat of a wedge pattern, right? You look at this bottom, kind of wedges up this way, and then flat across. That is usually a very bullish pattern. Let me take some notes here. So yeah, bullish, ascending wedge is typically, you're looking to buy. So people are in now. So the question is, it's like any other, so let's say this was a 1 minute chart or something, and it breaks above the wedge pattern. Will it find support now at the previous highs? At that base right here, is it going to find support? If it does, if it comes down and it kind of goes sideways, or it finds huge volume right in here, that may be a place to enter long. Let's see with AMD. So this is another thing I'm working on with my statistics. When you have green candle like this, a lot of volume, what I've noticed is that you usually have a further move up. I don't like all this resistance. That's my concern. But that's typically what I end up seeing. But just because you see it doesn't mean you can trade it. I mean, just because you notice a pattern, that's, so technical analysis, like I've said before, it's just the roadmap. It's just like the GPS, the navigation, but it's not necessarily, it doesn't show you how to drive. It doesn't show you how to step on the gas, step on the brakes. And so if you notice something in technical analysis, that's cool, but that doesn't necessarily tell you how to get into the trade. Okay, so this is coming back down. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Oh, this is right here, that 1330 I was just talking about. Look at that volume coming in. So this volume means that buyers are coming in, right? So people are pushing it down, but the buyers are starting to step up. That's why that volume is kicking in right here. And it's right around yesterday's high. So exactly what, but how do you get into that? That's the thing. How do you enter a trade like that? Do you blindly just set a buy order? Oh, hey, I think it's, because this is all downward momentum. Do I really want to step in front of that, hoping that the previous day's level is going to hold? So let's see, go back to AMD. It did gap up, which I like. Gapped up over a level. So almost engulfing right here. Let's see. Okay. 30 to 40. So this is again one of the big boy stocks, right? GE. This is a stock you can take a ton of volume. It's only a $13 stock, right? So this is a stock, look, 1.7 million shares right there. Look at that. This is one of those stocks where if you understand the probabilities, understand where the stock might be going, which I don't yet, that's what I'm working on. But if you have that edge, you can take size in a stock like this. Look at 800,000 shares right here, 800,000 shares. There's only 2 cents. These low float stocks that get pumped in these chat rooms, you get 100,000 shares and the thing goes to the roof. In my opinion, they're much more easily manipulated. That's why I don't like trading them. A stock like this, you know, it's only moved about 31 cents today. So you can take huge size and it's not so whippy. You know, you don't have to worry too much about getting whipped out. Oh, look at that, engulfing right there. Tried to push down, but it couldn't. But it still hasn't broken out of this range right here. What would make me think about going long is if this candle broke above this range and it kind of pulled back. So if this was strong volume, and I would have liked it if the initial volume was up, not down. So this initial volume, take a note here real quick. So the initial volume pushed it down. That always makes me, you know, a little nervous. People come in, pushed it down real hard, but it recovered and then some. Initial volume pushed it down, but it's like, wow, it came all the way back through. So that initial volume on the day is, I think there's a probabilistic edge there. I'm still trying to figure out that edge. But I think there might be something when you have that initial volume, if it's up or if it's down. This volume kicking in right here, 1.4 million shares. Wow. You know, I've seen it in some of the low float rooms. You know, these guys will come in with 20,000 shares. The people in the chat room buy the stock, and then the guys are getting out 20,000 shares. It goes up, you know, 10 cents, pops up real quick, and they're selling. as their chat room is buying, and it's like, cool, they just made $2,000. 20,000 shares, 10 cents, that's $2,000. And they posted on YouTube about how much money they made and whatever. But stocks like this, if you know what you're doing, if you kind of spend the time, these are harder, right? When you don't have a chat room moving these stocks and you got to just do it on your own and you got to figure it out on your own, it's not as easy. But my philosophy and kind of my thought process is, this is going to keep going, cool. That if you figure it out, I mean, like this right here, right? 1.2 million shares. I mean, this is a stock. Again, if you had the capital to back it, you could take 100,000 shares. 100,000 shares goes down 10 cents. You just made 10 grand. 100,000 shares goes down 20 cents. It's made 20 grand. That's crazy, right? And that's without taking money from other people. That's without manipulating a chat room. That's without, just all the shady shit that you see on so many of these sites with these low float guys. I have no problem with people who trade low float, and I think there's edge there. I just have a problem with the guys who have hundreds, if not thousands, of peoples in their chat room, and they're pushing those stocks, and then they post their wins. Oh, look, I made 5,000 today. I made this, I made that. Well, yeah, dude. Each one of us, if you're out there, you're listening, I just want you to know, if you had a stock you traded, and then every time you traded that stock, you had a huge following to do exactly what you did. So if you bought that stock, then you have a huge following, and a bunch of those people are going to buy that stock. If that's you, then chances are you'd be successful right now. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just the way it is. So if you watch these guys, you get frustrated because they seem like they're making money and you seem like you're not making money. Don't get discouraged. You know what I mean? Because they're making the money because they have other people buying the stock. You know what I mean? Like these scams have been happening for decades and decades. They've been happening where people pump these stocks. They used to be pumped in emails. They used to be pumped in, just take a note here real quick. Yeah, these pump and dumps have been happening for years. They used to happen, like I said, with emails, with newsletters, whatever. Now they just happen in real time in chat rooms. It's the same scam. It's the same shit. But now they're just brazen with it because now they pump these stocks and they put the results live on YouTube, and everybody thinks, wow, you're such an honest guy. You're so amazing. Look how you just look how transparent you are. So cool. Yeah, I'm going to spend thousands of dollars and take your course. But they're not being transparent because they're not telling you that the stock's being manipulated. It's low float, right? It's low supply. But their chat room creates the demand. High demand, low supply, high demand. What happens? Price goes up. Basic economics, man. Not difficult. But if you see these guys every day and you see them making money and you get disappointed, because I used to get disappointed. God, why are these guys making money every single day and I'm not? Well, shit, I don't have 1,000+ people looking at the same stocks I'm looking at, thinking of the exact same thing. I'm not shepherding people in what to do. I know people are looking at GE and I know people are looking at AMD right now. Right? I want to try to figure out what they're going to do and then place a trade, not place a trade and then, have people follow it. So this is interesting. So we just talked about, okay, let's see. Yeah, you got to stay away from the modern day pump and dumps. Gotta stay away from assholes on YouTube. I mean, like me, right? I'm just an asshole on YouTube. Like, I don't know anything. You shouldn't, Hopefully, if you're watching this, maybe you get some insight, or maybe think about things. But dude, I'm nobody. Like, I'm just a guy trying to figure it out. I'm in the same boat as you, just trying to, taking this stuff for real, trying to figure it out. I've read a ton of books, spent a lot of money on education, just trying to figure it out. So like we talked about, like I was talking about earlier, this 30 was previous day level, and it's finding support off that level. But just because it finds support off that level doesn't mean it's now going to skyrocket, right? Doesn't mean it's going to go, hey, and now I'm going to go through the roof. So I used to get into trades like that because I would think, oh, hey, look, that's a previous level. I'm going to buy. But the reality is, just because it finds support doesn't mean it's going to find buyers, like strong, active buyers who are in it, because it doesn't look like I see a lot of buyers pushing the stock up. I did see buyers step in right here, 2 million shares. 2 million shares, but then it didn't really go anywhere. So this actually might look like it's kind of wedging up a little bit. So it's the other thing I mentioned earlier. When I see this green candle, a lot of times this means it's going to push up more, and that's exactly what it's doing. Look, it's pushing up, pushing up. Again, this is one of those stocks where you could have took 10, 20, 30,000 shares. Wow, and made a ton of money. So why didn't I get in? This right here kind of made me nervous. It's just like it really, I don't know. I don't know what the entry would be that. Like, how would I repeat that entry? This is what I want. I want a repeatable entry. So if this bar happened up here, right? So if this moved up, kind of hesitated, pulled back a little, pulled back into the VWAP, I may have been really interested in getting in at the VWAP area. But it seemed like it had this push, and then this volume. Look at this volume pushing it down. That volume pushing it down made me nervous. So I didn't want to get into it. If this volume right here was this bar, so if this volume was over here with that bar, and it came back down, then I may have been more interested. But that's just not the way it happened. So volume is important. Where is the volume? I'm always asking myself, where is the volume? Some people don't think it's important. I think it's the most important. Price is one thing, but how much volume is happening at that price? So, yeah, this is interesting. Here's the volume, right, on this initial bar. 5 million shares. Broke up, couldn't sustain higher highs. Boom, drop back down lower. Comes back up in, and now it's hitting this volume. Where this volume was right here on this bar, look at it. It's coming and it's hitting it. It can't push. So it's kind of trapped. You got this level up here from this volume, and then you have the level down here from the previous day. So I have no idea where price is going to go right there. The big thing you have to watch out for that I found myself having issues with is bias. Bias, where people are long biased or people are short biased. They have one way that they trade. All I do is buy. All I do is short. If I'm long biased, I'm looking for any reason to go long right here, right? So I'm like, oh, cool. It hit previous day's level. It's going to be support. I'm going long, right? But if I'm short biased, I'm thinking, wow, price just collapsed, below this level right here. This was a ton of volume, couldn't push up, came back down. If it retests it, I'm going to go short. So your bias can really be short bias, long bias. You can find reasons to get into a long trade or a short trade here if you're trying really hard. And it was like I'd go through stages. Sometimes I'd be long bias, sometimes I'd be short bias, and a lot of times I didn't even realize that I was being long or short biased. Oh, the stock gapped up. I'm looking for a reason to go long. Oh, it gapped up too far. I'm looking for a reason to go short. And you should only have those biases if and only if you have a statistical reason to have that bias, right? So if I've done the analytics, and I haven't, I'm still working on them, as you'll hear me say over and over again. If I do the analytics and say, hey, I've noticed that when a stock gaps up and it comes back down to the previous day's high, there's a 60% chance that it's going to go back up to the high of day. If I had that kind of statistic, then I could be biased. Then I could be long biased. Then I could be going, hey, I'm looking to go long when it hits the level because of these statistics that I've already figured out. Right? But a lot of times people don't have those statistics. They just have a bias for whatever reason. So that's what I'm working on. Or short bias. I know that if it breaks up and then comes below the opening range bar, then I'm going to look to go short because it has, a 50% chance of, making double the range or something. I don't know, whatever the stat may be. I'm totally cool with trading a 50-50 trade if I know there is at least a 2-to-1 profit to loss ratio expectancy. Not a lot going on. AMD and GE, these are the stocks to trade today. Biggest volume. I'm not trading because I don't know where the edge would be. I don't know how would I make a repeatable trade right here? I don't. Like maybe you see one that's cool, but I don't. I'm like I don't know where the repeatable trade would be. It's like each trade strategy should be kind of like a product. So like if you're Ford, you have the F-150, you have the Mustang, you have the Ford Focus, you have all these things. And it's each like its own product line. And you're never going to confuse a Mustang with an F-150. Like you're never going to confuse those two. They're totally different. And I think with your trade strategies, it's really important that each one you have. Oh, I'm taking some notes here. Is like its own product. And you can just say, oh yeah, that's my Ford Focus trade or whatever the trade name is, and it's obvious what it is. It's obvious and it's repeatable. You can do it, over and over again. At least that's what I'm trying to accomplish. I'm trying to do something that's repeatable. I want consistent wins, so I got to make consistent types of trades. And then I can make small adjustments to refine that strategy. Not a whole lot going on here. 32 million shares on GE, 17. So I'm sitting here, wanting something to trade, wishing there was something I can trade. And I know there's probably going to be these guys, social media traders that, made thousands of dollars today. And I'm sitting here going, I haven't found anything to trade. And it's frustrating, right? I want to make thousands of dollars today. Not going to happen. First off, because I'm paper trading. So good luck on that. Secondly, I just don't see the strategy. And it's easy to get discouraged, especially because I've been doing this for a couple of years and I'm still, I still struggle. However, I'm always looking at the big picture. I'm always looking 5-10 years down the road. 10 years, where am I going to be? When I was in my 20s or my 30s, 10 years seemed like a long time. Now in my 40s, I'm like, God, 10 years goes by so quick. I heard a quote that really resonated with me. People often overestimate what they can do in a year, but they underestimate what they can do in 10 years. Man, everything now for me is like my 10-year plan. I don't know how to trade this AMD right now, right? Don't know. This GE, not sure how to trade this right now. But in 10 years, I'm going to know exactly how to trade these. No doubt. Some people like 10 years seems like such a long time. But the reality is, you look at any career that has this kind of potential. You want to be like a master, surgeon, top attorney, whatever, professional athlete. I mean, you're talking your life. You're talking years and years and years and years of hustle. But the payoff, man, how much do top surgeons make? How much do top athletes, top lawyers, right? How much do top traders make? I mean, that's why it trips me out when I see these guys who are just like, oh, I make $100 a day or whatever. It's like, really? Wow. Could you imagine being a top athlete? Oh, I'm just, as long as I can make $100 a day. No. I mean, top athletes, their focus isn't the money. Their focus is being the best they can be at whatever it is they're doing. But when you are the best at what you do, the money usually comes. So that's why I'm not focusing on money right now. I'm not focusing on how much money I can make every day. I'm just focusing on being the best. Not about making $100 or $1,000 or whatever. I hear this stupid shit. Oh, $1,000 a day keeps the job away, whatever. It's like, what? It's so stupid. I'm not doing this so I don't have to work another job. I'm doing this because this is like literally my life, my passion. This is what I want to be good at. I'm not doing it just so I can escape having a different job. I've been self-employed for so long. I ran my own company. I was in the music industry for 18 years. I ran my own recording studio and everything for over a decade. Like I've already, that's fine, but this is what I'm doing now. I'm not trying to escape anything else. A lot of people, I think, get into trading because they hate their boss. Oh God, I hate my boss. I got to do trading. Whatever. I've hated my bosses in the past, but that's not why I'm doing this. Question you always have to ask yourself is why trade? If you're doing it, I think, to escape something else, you're probably going to have a hard time. If you're doing it because you need to turn $500 into $100,000, if you're doing it because you just hate people and you just, I don't know, all the reasons people trade. If you're doing it just because you want to have a sports car, and I don't know, I don't know if you're going to find success with trading, if those are your motivations. I do it because I love the analytics. There's so many reasons I've traded. I started trading back in 2005. Been doing it on and off, and it's only within the last couple of years that I've really started taking it seriously. But it's just who I am. I worked in the music industry I would talk with people and I said, there's people who play guitar and there's people who like are the guitar. It sounds corny, but like I met a ton of people who played guitar, and then you meet those people. It's just like, God, they were like the guitar and them were like one being. There's people who do, and there's people who are. Same thing with like singers or anything. It's like if I say NFL quarterback, majority of people would think Tom Brady. I mean, I know nothing really about football. But I know who that is. And you think that dude is a quarterback. Like, he doesn't just quarterback, like he is that like almost like that position was made for him. It's like with trading, that's what I'm looking for. Not just looking to be some guy who trades. I'm looking to be the person who is trading. Like, that's everything. I mean, I'm building algorithms. I'm building spreadsheets. I'm looking at analytics. I grind every 4 o'clock every morning. I'm up in front of my computer. Why do you trade? Is it something you do, or is it something you are? All right, enough of the philosophical bullshit. Let's keep looking at trades. Look at this. A little bit of volume comes in. This is actually interesting. Now, let me see. Just taking some notes real quick. This bottom tail candle right here, this rejection candle. So it comes down. Previous day, it is at a previous day's level. The only thing I don't like about it is it has all this to kind of fight back up through. So if this candle right here would have been right here, I probably would have bought it. Because that'd be a repeatable pattern. That's easy to see. Price comes down quick, not a lot of volume. And then if it had this kind of candle with more volume, showing me the buyers are stepping in, I'd probably go in for a quick 2-to-1, at least to VWAP. But it's happening over here. I don't know what that means. There's a lot. I mean, there's millions and millions of shares all above it right here. But if it dropped right here, came down, pushed back up with volume, I would say, hey, dude, I'm getting in, at least taking it up to VWAP or back to the open. So timing is important. I can't just go, and this is what I used to do all the time. I used to just see something like this and go, oh, look, there's volume, it's a rejection from the lows, I'm gonna buy. Now it's possible that this goes up, but is it probable? I don't know. That's what I'm working out. I've noticed there seems to be a higher probability here. And notice how I said it seems to be. Seems to be. Until I have the concrete proof in front of me, everything is just guess. Really, I'm just guessing. That's why I'm working so hard on learning this program language, getting the real stats, because I've traded for years without any kind of idea of probabilities. And I just like, God, what the fuck? Why am I doing that? If you look at casinos, insurance companies, hedge funds, all multi-billion-dollar a year industries, they all have one thing in common: probabilities. They know what the probabilities are. That's how they make their money. And they leverage those probabilities into profits. That's what we need to be doing as traders. A lot of times we're trying to leverage some education that we got, following some guru. But we don't figure it out for ourselves. I think it's really important to figure out your trade, your strategy, your probabilities. Do the homework. Figure it out for yourself. Conduct your business the way the insurance companies would, and conduct your business the way a casino would, conduct your business the way a hedge fund would. Provable, viable strategy. Where you can actually look through and go, hey, look, I saw this happen 1,000 times. These are the probabilities. This is my expected return if I do this 1,000 more times. Take it seriously. Oh, I don't know. I saw this guy online. He trades these momentum low float stocks, and he just like gets in when it breaks 50 cents, he gets in. Or when he does this, okay, well, yeah, he has a following of 1,000 plus people who are doing the same thing he does, of course. That to me is not long term. I think that shit's going to get shut down eventually, just the way a lot of these other pump and dump schemes have gotten shut down. I am just seeing a whole bunch of nothing. AMD has moved almost $1. It's going to be interesting to see what happens when it gets up into this area. So this has been previous resistance right here, and it's around this volume. So there's a lot going on in this area, this 1343 area. The question is, if you wanted to get into the short side, where would you get in? Why are you getting in there? How do you tag that? I understand sometimes people think, oh, dude, you think too much when it comes to trading. Just trade. Like, don't have a strategy. Just trade. I see guys talking this bullshit on YouTube. Oh, just don't come. Just trade. You just got to trade. You just got to trade. Well, okay, that's great, but how do you improve on that? It's like, what if I was playing baseball? You would never go to Major League Baseball, and the guy just say, hey, just swing the bat, just swing it. Like, they're going to work with you on technique. They're going to work with you on, you know what I mean? There's coaches for that. They just, oh, don't think about it, just swing. No, they adjust grip, they adjust stance, they adjust different things, incremental adjustments, right? You're playing at the big leagues. You want to hit the ball over the fence, Now, eventually, it gets to the point where, you gotta take some notes here. Eventually, it gets to the point where they don't think about it. Their game day, they're not thinking about how they're holding the bat, how they're standing. But before that happens, there's a lot of work to be done. Like, I want to get to the point where I'm not thinking about any of this stuff. Like I said, if I have to think about it too hard, it means I don't have an edge. But the idea of just trading, just place trades, especially people live money, just lose money every day. It's fine. What the fuck are you talking about, man? I'm not gonna do that. I gotta figure something out. I was looking at my stats over the last several months, and I realized if I would have had a 4-to-1 profit to loss ratio, I would have made, I would have done really decently. The problem is, like, my trades were so random that when I tried that the next month, it didn't work. And I realized, God, my trades are just so random because all I was doing was just trading, just so random. And if you want to take random trades, that's fine. But now I label them. If there's a trade I want to take and I consider it random, I tag it as feel. It's just a trade I felt like getting into. And then I'll do the stats on that. If I can look at my trades that are all tagged feel, so all the trades I just felt like getting into and I got into, see how those trades do. If they do good, then I'll keep doing it. But so far they haven't been doing that great. So I need something different. Some people can just go off feel. That's great. I'm not one of those people. I need a little bit more. All right, so yeah, I don't really see a lot going on. So I'm just going to go ahead and call it, and I will check back in tomorrow.